and welcome to the video. This is Show, and it is that time of the year again. It's been 2 months since we did our last episode of Games You Missed. Now, since our last episode, we've had quite a few new games drop, though I do admit it's been a little bit of a slower month. I guess say a slower 2 months of the strategy game releases, but it is okay. We still have some great games to talk about here, so we're going to be talking about 5 strategy games that you missed on the Switch between June and July of 2022. Now, real quick, I know that at the time of this recording, Digimon Survive has actually just come out. In fact, I'm looking at my computer rendering some of my playthrough videos, so I will not be including that on this list specifically, but do know that that game did come out. It's a pretty good strategy RPG so far. I really enjoy my time with it. But yeah, just know it's going to be on this list. With that said, let's jump in and take a look at these games. First up on the list, we have the Shadowrun trilogy by Paradox Interactive. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but it is a true cult classic tactical RPG that goes back over 30 years ago. Now, for the game, it's basically like Deus Ex if it was a tactics game. You have loads of customization and different ways to play. You have a lot of different kind of approaches, strategic battles, and yeah, overall, it's a really interesting, fun game, especially if you're into sort of like the Wasteland series. It might seem a little bit dated. Obviously, this is like a 30-year-old tactics RPG series, but it is a cult classic for a reason. Do check it out if you haven't already. Coming in at number 2 is one that definitely caught my eye and is very, very interesting concept, and that is the Hand of Merlin by Versus Evil. Now, this is a turn-based roguelike RPG centered around Arthurian legends if it was King Arthur versus Cthulhu. Now, the game does seem to offer a good amount of customization. You can choose different routes and different approaches for the overarching narrative, so having that customization of your story is quite nice. It also seems that there's some good support systems from failures that allow you to take newer approaches and make the overall experience a little less harsh on the roguelike aspect. Otherwise, amazingly, fantastically looking visuals. I love that kind of style there, and yeah, definitely worth a try if you're into Arthurian legends and medieval Cthulhu bashing. In our third slot, we're going to be taking a look at a game that pretty much went completely under the radar, but seems very interesting, and that is from Indie Nova, Delivery from the Pain. Now, this is basically cut in the same vein of Shadowrun or Wasteland in terms of like a kind of a tactical RPG / action-esque sort of feel, but it's much more indie in its design. The blurb on eShop reads that it's a zombie action simulator survival game where you'll need to be crafty with how you interact with the world. There's a lot of mention with large maps, consequential dialogue choices, and loads of weapon workshop and strategic choices. So definitely great for those of you who like to get really into the nitty-gritty of those sort of tactical RPGs. The visual style, in my opinion, looks a bit on the bland side, and there seems to be very limited enemy choices. I mean, it boasts a whole 10 different kinds, but seems to be quite a charmer if you're into these old-school action tactics games. Coming in on our fourth slot, we have Metal Max Xeno Reborn by P-Cube. Now, this is a remake of the classic Metal Max series. I think it's maybe the original game, I'm not too sure. It's actually been out in Japan for quite a while, but recently got its Western release in June. It combines loads of different types of mechanics. You have turn-based, you have action, you have shooting, all depending on your game settings, as well as the type of battle you are doing. At the top of that, you have loads of customization. You can customize your tanks almost in every which way, shape, or form with weapon loadouts, color schemes, and the works. It is considered to be kind of a classic JRPG. Obviously, this is a remake, but I do kind of give a heads up. It may not be for everyone, as this has sort of a very unique battle mechanic system with all of those different things flushed together, so this might be for the select few. Aside from that, for me, I love Pochi, so it's always great to see a dog with a rocket launcher on its back. And finally, in the fifth slot for this video, we have Table of Tales, the Crooked Crown. Now, this is an actual tabletop tactics game, and it actually looks absolutely amazing. It offers a narrative-driven experience. It's fully voiced by basically a dungeon master that takes the form of a mechanical crow. The gameplay, at least from what it says in the blurb, include all of your favorite D&D gimmicks, essentially. You got dice, you got cards, you got skill checks. You have complete unique customization of your scoundrels or your units that you can change every single time you go through it. Honestly, if you're a big fan of old school D&D/tabletop games, this is probably going to be for you. Again, the visuals for this look amazing. The table changes as the events play out in a very beautiful, vibrant fashion. So do check this one out if you're into that sort of thing. And there you go. That is 5 strategy games that you missed that were released in June and July of 2022. Do let me know in the comments down below if you've had the chance to check any of these out, and let us know your experiences, as I know some people like to come in here and they see these games and they're wondering, hey, has anyone actually tried this out? We'll get a little bit more information on it. So yeah, please share your thoughts down in the comments, and yeah, let me know if any of these seem really, really interesting for you too. If one happens to be spoken about quite a bit, I may try to pop a little chat review for it. In the meantime, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you want to support the channel and send your love, please hit the subscribe button. That's the best way for you to do so. So thank you so much for sending your love. This is Sho, and I will catch you in the next video. Cheers!